Welcome. I'm Pierluigi Dalpino, working for Microsoft. Great to have today our special guest, Father Paolo Benanti. Paolo Benanti is a professor at the University of Rome, of the Pontifical Gregorian University in Rome, on moral theology and neuroethics. How do you see the relationship between technology, human intelligence, and AI?
Well, we could say that is a long-lasting relationship. If we look at 70,000 years ago, we was one of the other species that walk around the globe without having so much impact on that. At one point, as a species, we made something that was really different from any other species around the globe. If you look at a mammoth, when a mammoth moved himself from the Siberian place to the Africa and Asia, he has to wait that someone of his descendants grow up without the long skin that can protect him from the cold environment, but is not good to stay in a hot environment. 70,000 years ago, when a member of our species, Homo sapiens, simply moved from the south of Africa to the Siberian place, they didn't wait that someone born with a long barb. They simply dress with the skin of a mammoth. So what the other species has as ability through the DNA, we have through the relationship to the world with this technological artifact. So all our history is a relationship with artifact. Now today we are in a new page of this history, in a new season, in which artifacts are not simple, basically tools that we use to interact with the world. They are neither simple machine, as we saw at the end of the 18th century with the Industrial Revolution. They are something more similar to us. They can become in some way intelligence. And the fact that until today we was the only real human-like intelligent species in some way makes some difficult relationship with the new kind of machine. And the most challenging fact is that we have simple moving some kind of decision that was human-centered decision to this machine. And this is one of the most challenging frontier, because when we decide to let a machine make decision that before was just a center for human being, we have to ask to ourselves, what happens if there is a mistake? What happens if there is a failure? It's a problem of programmation, of calculation, it's a problem of setuping. All these things of problems that was usually connected to the freedom and to the conscience and to the responsibility of a human being now are mediated by a machine. This is the situation, this is the challenge, this is one of the most important points to let our species to be still alive on this planet.
How's your religious background and scholarship influenced the way you perceive and you develop your thinking around ethics on AI? And what are you most concerned or actually positive on AI developments when it comes to ethics?
We could have the sensation that working in a religious context is something that let you just simple think to something else that is not on the earth. But being a religious or work in the church means also to look really deep to the human relationship inside the perspective of justice, of fairness, and to give to everyone the opportunity to become what he has to become, a full man and woman. That is the perspective in which I look at technology, especially at the word of AI. So the way in which we could become human, all the education field, all the formation, all the university are touched by the way in which AI will interact with us. All the works that a human being can do, all the justice, all the way in which every one of us could understand himself and describe himself as a career could be drastically changed. But what we have to face, or could be improved, could be more healthier. For example, someone that can work in EV industries could have a really easiest life through the machine help, or could be simple one more jobless because the machine take his place. So religious is simple something that look not only at the machine and its efficiency, but it's something that look at the man in the center of this machine-related environment. And this human-centered approach to the machine and to the AI is what my background gives to me to approach the ethical question.
And what would an AI ethical system should look like? I mean, if you look at both at the governance and policy side.
When we talk ethically, we are used to talk about values. If I would like to talk with someone that is in data science, values is a number and is not a moral values. So the bridging with these two understanding of the word values is the core answer to your question. What does it mean values? Looking at ethical point, but values has to be translated in a way that a machine could in some way work with it. So if you allow me to use a new expression, we should talk about algor ethics. That means that the numbers has to express not just only data, but also values. And the way in which we can transform every number in values, in moral values, and every moral values in something that the machine can understand, can compute, can transform in this chain on if this, then that. That is the core chain of every programming language, is the way in which we have to look at the problem. So looking at government, looking at global policy, we have to try to make the whole system transparent, because every time that a machine calculate over values, it also express some kind of values. Think to someone that is going to a bank asking for a mortgage. It's not just matter of numbers. It's also a matter of desire, hope on the future, relationship, human relationship. So it's not just a flag on a screen that say the values are correct or the values are not correct. Number is not all. And so politicians, policymakers, global government has to assure that we are not closing inside a black box that is ethical and transparent, the real values that we have to keep alive in our society.
I really think that there is a side which is more technical, which is what we could perceive as, as an algorithm which is ethical by design. It's not easy to accomplish, and you're right. I mean, if we don't take in consideration, the real values that are behind that, we just stick into the human behavior. And so going back to some of the main values, going to the roots, and try not, to exclude some of the symptoms of these values, such as fairness, such as inclusion, and having this opportunity in talking to you, it really values how actually this ethical principle would apply into technology.
Yes, every algorithm that is running on a computer simply make some kind of decision on fact or on human beings, but it can make as fast as never was possible before. So that means that if someone of us making that decision could make mistake, now that kind of mistake could be multiplied in a great scale with a scale factor that could produce a new kind of injustice. One of the most cruel battle of the last century was to say that everyone on the face of the earth is equal. There are no differences connected to the skin colors, to the supposing belonging to some kind of groups of culture, and we fought for this. For that, we say one to the other that every human being that is on the face of the earth is equal. Now, if we move to a world that is also driven by algorithms, we could produce unintended bias that make this equality just something that is not real, something that is a dream. And this is why we need a broader context in which evaluate the evolution of technology and the big power that technology has to help us to live better life. And because the healthcare system, the jobs, everything that is on the face of the planet, everything that is connected with human relationship is touched by the AI revolution, we could face a giant transformation of our society. Keep this society still a just society, a society in which we are happy to live, is the giant challenge that ethics, politics, industries have to face altogether.
Just to conclude, the Alan Kay said the best way to predict the future is to invent it. And what do you think will be the next innovation phase, if I think about AI evolution, in this next decade?
It's not so easy because we have not just one model in AI development. For our Western model, that is really typical, that is really company-centered, for me the best evolution that we can dream, that we would like to achieve, is not a machine that is a competitor of the human being, but is something that is in some way an enhancer of human being. So if we will able to do something that make human being plus machine, Homo sapiens plus machine sapiens, that will be the next big things that can make our life more deep, more flourishing, more renaissance.
Thanks. Thanks
You're
for being
welcome.
with us. A lot of learning
Thank you.
on both sides, I hope.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks.